I know all you Muse fans missed my charming face, so here I am to serve you. So I'm gonna let you in on just a little secret here. Okay, I know. Lean in close. Come here. Come here. Origin of Symmetry is my favorite album of all time. Yeah, I know. Shock. Gasp. Guffaw. I totally haven't said that 400 times on this channel already. But what might actually shock you is the order I'd rank the tracks on the album from worst to best. I'd be saying I'll do this for forever now. So it's great to finally be getting into it. So let's start with the worst song on my favorite album ever, with number 12, Futurism. Some might not actually call this a song on Origin of Symmetry, as it originally was a bonus track on the Japanese release of the album. And the heavy, gritty bass line is what actually led to the creation of one of the all-time classics, Hysteria. Hope you can't hear the massive thunderstorm going on in the background. The problem here is that I'm actually extremely happy it's a bonus track, as it's the only song of the bunch that I don't think I would actually give a 10 out of 10 to. As much as I love the chaotic and powerful energy that the song brings, it just doesn't hit the heights that the core album tracks do. I wasn't gonna include it on the ranking because it's just a bonus track, but I'm pretty sure all of you would be wondering about my thoughts on the song, so now let's get to what I would consider the real album tracks with number 11, Plug-in Baby. Man, starting off with a scalding hot take I see. I gotta say though, there have been many times when any one of these songs has been at number 1, and any one of them has been in last, so just because Plug-in Baby is last for now, doesn't mean it's definitively the worst track for me. But I can't say it's my least favorite for now. Although the main riff is undoubtedly iconic, the hook is catchy as hell, and the track is a straight up party. It just doesn't have the same super interestingly ominous vibe that the rest of the album masters so effectively, and it doesn't have nearly as interesting of a song structure as something like, let's say, Citizen Erased. Not everything has to be a prog nightmare, but as for now, my tastes have slightly leaned away from the pop rock that features so prominently on this song. But for the actual highlights, obviously the aforementioned catchy hooks and riffs, but the bass line is also amazing. I love the suspense of the 2-chord pre-chorus buildup, and the ending vocals are a powerful display of what Matt can do while simultaneously jamming on the guitar. This is still a 10 to me, but like I said, it's hard when all of these are my favorite songs. Number 10, Feeling Good. I know a lot of people consider this by far the worst on the album, and I've never really felt that way. I really love the change to electric piano to make the song stand out, as it contains this bluesy, jazzy feel that's a really welcome change in the ominous setting. And it packs such a biting and heavy punch. The dynamics are all over the place, with subtle changes to the original melody to make the track really stand out as a unique production. And there's a reason it's one of the songs that really put them on the map. 3 of the major influences that Muse tends to incorporate into their rock are orchestral music, jazz music, and Spanish music, and this is clearly a fusion of the jazzy and bluesy goodness with the classic dark and oppressive Origin of Symmetry production and atmosphere. The drum fills here are some of the best from Muse ever. While it might not be quite as strong as the best of the best on the album, it hits all of the notes that I'm looking for. Number 9, Bliss. Let's get this out of the way first. If this was a live version of Bliss transposed into the album, then it would place notably higher. The song always felt like it was missing some of the chaos that Origin of Symmetry promises, and the live version remedies all of that with this massive guitar solo and unhinged vocals. In any case, what we have here is one of the slickest sounding songs in the album, with synths that just dance in your ears, mixed with a crisp, rocking guitar and bass work. I love the cadence of the guitars, bass, and drums when the song first kicks in. It's so rhythmic and angular. The chords here are amazing, with a really beastly key change at the chorus that lifts us up from the pure despair the album has presented thus far, and it's such a crisp experience. It's not too dissimilar from Plug-in Baby in some ways, but it takes us on a more personalized and spacey journey that I find myself preferring currently. Number 8, oh god, Citizen Erased. How could you, man? How could you? I've made it no secret that I've thought Citizen Erased was mildly overrated over the years, but I will say that the remix opened my eyes a little bit, as I heard what had been buried in a mildly overproduced outro. But what shines here is clearly this song's structure. The song is the polar opposite of formulaic, being a 7-minute odyssey across the spectrum of what the album really has to offer. It goes from the heaviest song of the album to one of the softest, finding grooves, massive choruses, intricate guitar work, and one of the best guitar solos Muse has to offer. And the outro packs an emotional and thoughtful punch with instrumental switch-ups up the wazoo. And while I can endlessly applaud the ambition, I do think the extreme phaser in the outro covers up some really interesting strings. But from second 1 until the end, I am totally entranced by this journey that the track takes me on, And so for non-Muse fans, this is one of the first to recommend, as it's just an undeniable force. Number 7, hyper music. While this song does follow that semi-typical song structure that I mentioned before, it is so unhinged, filled with so much unbridled rage that all sense of structure totally leaves my mind. The song is noisy, evil, aggressive, and honestly, I think we've never really seen energy like this since. The only other song from Muse that comes to this level of pure insanity is Dead Star, and even that song feels more cleanly produced in some ways. The song is so raw, and you can hear every guitar string scratching as it's being plucked. You can hear the grit in the humming of the bass amp. It feels so textured. It's clearly inspired from Rage Against the Machine, but with a musy twist and the addictive bass line and entrancing melodies. It might not have as ambitious songwriting as Citizen Erased, but it goes so hard that it more than makes up for it. Number 6, microcuts. As for a song not to show to non-Muse fans,
I still stand by my original point of his voice isn't.
this is one of the most Muses to ever muse. It's got the highest Matt vocals, the craziest outro. It's like if hyper music took place in the medieval ages or something with metal guitar. I love the contrast between the verses and the chorus. Matt has this megaphone type effect to sound distant and quiet, which makes the explosive clarity of the chorus even more powerful. And the outro riff has endlessly inspired me in my own musical writing. This song opened up my eyes to the limitations I had been placing on rock music and music in general. I thought nobody would dare to create something like this because it's so potentially off-putting and so risky that they just shy away from it being so insane. But that's what makes this record so timeless to me, even though Muse hasn't gone to this level again in future releases. Before we do get to that top 5 though, I just want to say thank you guys so much for clicking on my face for this video. It means a lot to me that you guys are taking the time to watch my content. And if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and let me know which other albums you'd like me to do this with. I've actually done this for OK Computer already, as well as Typhoons by Royal Blood. Also, I am writing an album right now. It's actually getting very close to being finished, so stay tuned for more news about that. Hope you guys stick around. And now let's get to that top 5. Number 5 is Megalomania. No, wait, that's a different song. Number 5, Megalomania. Megalomania would have historically been an easy last place for me, but over the years it has undoubtedly grown on me tremendously. It has the bombastic dynamic changes of microcuts, but presented in a way that could only really be done on Origin of Symmetry. The acoustic guitar work is addictive, as the verse feels like this funeral dirge that just sinks me into a trance every time. Then the massive chorus feels like a perfect send-off to a perfect album, with layered vocals and huge organ. This is another case where the remix actually opened my eyes a bit, as I just couldn't get enough of all of these hidden details in the mix. I love the utilization of the organ, and the lyrics have always stuck with me. It's a welcome change up on the album, but one that I've grown to absolutely adore. Number 4, Newborn. Now we are in the territory of songs that I would consider for top 10 best songs of all time, unironically. Newborn is the song that got me hooked on the band, and for good reason. It features all of the bombast that we've been mentioning, but a more cinematic quality with this haunting Tim Burton-esque intro featuring strange grooves and an addictive build-up to a massive, huge, thick, juicy-ass riff. The verses feature addictive bass work, as I mentioned, as always with Muse, and the choruses are huge and bombastic. This might be one of the songs to show off the most Muse-type song you could possibly have, as it just pretty much has everything you could hope for from the band. Originally, it might actually be in the running for number 1, but I have seen it fall just a tiny bit over the years in favor of number 3, which is Screenager. Yes, I know, guys. I'm hot take central here. I'm literally burning. Don't touch me, you might catch fire. Yes, Screenager is in my top 3. I know. This is shocking. I don't think I've ever heard a song even sound anything similar to this one. It is very difficult. I've been trying actually lately in my own writing to make songs that are as addictively haunting and ominous and enchanting with just acoustic guitar and percussion and these little glittering synths in the back. It is very challenging to write songs this detailed and intricate, but Screenager just manages to pull it off in a way that pretty much no other song has. Learning that there were exotic bones used in the percussion of the song explains away the very particular percussive sounds that are used throughout. It definitely isn't as bombastic as the biggest songs of the album, but I found myself returning to it more than pretty much any other song on the entire album, and that is really saying something. I know a lot of people would easily put this as at the bottom with Feeling Good, But this is a song that feels a lot more timeless than a lot of these songs on the album, and generally from Muse. I love the reversed sounds in the intro and the strange chimes that set up a very haunting atmosphere from beginning to end. Now let's get into that top 2 with number 2 as Space Dementia. I've said this multiple times in this video already, but this is a song that again opened me to the possibilities of what rock music could be. I had never heard piano used in such a heavy format before, and everybody I show this song to is just blown away by the direction it takes. The choruses at times can feel slightly empty to some, as there's a very chromatic ascension and descension going on, but I think what matters here is that you get hooked into the immersion of the soundscape that they're creating. Even if the production is sparse there, it's about getting hooked into the atmosphere. And I love that the beginning is a slowed down version of that heavy outro at the end, the unbelievable noise on this song, and again, that remix brought out the strings that I can now hear in the mix on the original that I really just couldn't pick out before. This is inspired heavily from Rachmaninoff, and you can totally tell in the best possible way. It is heavy, dark, ominous, everything I love about Origin of Symmetry, turned up to 11 with some of the best piano work I've ever heard on a rock album. I am dying for them to do another song like this one day, and it's only second to my number 1, which is Darkshines. Yes, Darkshines is number 1. Again, I look for music like this at any chance I can get. I can never find songs that reach the levels of songs like Darkshines. That groove in the verse is one of the most addictive bass lines and grooves I've ever heard in my life. I think I'd pretty easily put it above Hysteria, even being as iconic as it is. Every tiny little production detail adds texture and experience to this world. The quiet part in the bridge, re-listen to that section over and over again from the beginning of time. Every melodic choice, every harmonic choice, every production choice builds the most spacey, epic, dark, haunting atmosphere, and I just cannot get enough of it from beginning to end. Matt's vocals here actually are some of his best I've ever heard, especially in that last chorus. You can just hear him screaming his soul out. And the dynamic shifts in this song keep me hooked. Again, one of my favorite songs of all time. I can't get enough. Let me know your ranking down below. Hope you guys had a great time in this video. Let me know if there's other albums you'd like me to do. Keep an eye out for my album coming out soon, and hope you all have a great day. Peace.